Okay, um, it's Labor Day weekend in the United States, and I am doing another video. I did one just now on getting JOSM to install and launch and keep itself up to date using OpenWebStart. Check out my YouTube channel, or my main YouTube channel. I posted it under the wrong account, and I don't care to look into how to move it. So there's my account under my name, and then this account is the Curious Mapper, which is what I intend to be using going forward. So this is a quick one about how to look at the recency, or the kind of the capture date of your aerial imagery. So this can be difficult. It's not always easy to find out when aerial imagery that you're looking at was captured. So often the best thing you can do is look for some hints. And the hint that I have here in front of me that I was recently thinking about, because I was flying again for the first time since the pandemic, and I was using the new Salt Lake City airport for the first time, which opened, as you can see here, in September 15th, 2020, actually ahead of schedule. Because of the pandemic, everything was quiet and they could proceed faster with construction. So it was opened in September 15th, 2020, so almost a year ago. And it's beautiful, so if you're ever in Salt Lake, enjoy the airport that we built for you. But now on to the topic, right? So if you go to JOSM, so here's something that I know when it changed. So this is September 15, 2020. You should be starting seeing activity here on these gates, and be able to kind of make out that this is actually an active terminal now. So any imagery that you see that doesn't have that, or doesn't have those buildings, must be older, and you can kind of see how much older even. So let me show you how I do that. So here's the sort of my go-to default, which is Bing imagery. So what we see here is actually all the old terminal buildings and concourses. So this is the old airport that you see here, and no sign yet even of the new airport, which is kind of off into this direction. The terminal building stretches kind of into this western direction from here. So no sign of that yet. So these images are actually quite old, because the new construction of the airport hadn't even started, and that started, I think, in 2017. So these are quite old imagery, vintage. Doesn't mean that it's the same, of course. If you look somewhere else, it might be different. You can actually see sort of a boundary here. This is not by definition valid for large areas, but if you're looking at this general area, chances are that you're looking at imagery of the same vintage. So that's not great in this case, even though Bing is usually kind of okay in most areas where I've looked. But let's go through some of the other sources. I've lined up all the layers that I usually use. So here is, if we switch on Esri, you can see the difference right away. Let me turn off the to-do list. Let me switch back and forth. So here's Bing, here's Esri. So you can still see that the old concourses are active. The planes are all there and not here. So the new terminals right here and right here, they are under construction, but they're not in use yet. So this is worse. This is better, but still vintages before September 2020. So now we go to the next layer, which is the Esri World Imagery Clarity, which looks to be older than the main Esri imagery layer. The next one we'll try is Mapbox. So Mapbox looks like there is some signs of construction right here, but if we compare it with nothing, you can see that the roads are already sort of realigned a little bit to make way for the construction zone, but also sort of 2017, 2018 vintage. And move on to Maxar, Premium or Standard. So here you see something interesting. So here is actually the complete new terminals under in use, you see the planes here kind of taxiing and parked by the gates. So this is so far the newest imagery we've seen. We can still see the old buildings, the old construction, the old buildings and concourses here in the old parking garage. These have been torn down in the meantime, sort of late last year. No, earlier this year. So this imagery is still a few months old, but still this is pretty good. So my conclusion, let me just get the low resolution ones that I sometimes use as well, just to see how they are doing. So this is the NAIP imagery, National Agriculture Imagery Program. So this looks like there's some construction here going on already. So this must be 2019-ish. And then USGS imagery looks like it's the same source in this case. So yeah, there you have that. This is how I sometimes check out the vintage of imagery. This is useful if you are local to an area, you know, sort of a recent landmark in time where some new construction that you would be able to see in imagery was completed. So if you live in an area where there's lots of construction going on, this can be a useful technique to help you determine what the most recent imagery is, so you don't make a mistake of mapping based on old imagery that's no longer relevant. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope this is useful for some of you, and hope to see you again soon. Enjoy your weekend if you're watching live, and enjoy your day if you're watching the recording.